There are 210 million Christians in the U.S. That's just the U.S. That is over a majority, according to Wikipedia, of the people that live in the U.S. today. Both of my parents lead worship. My mom leads worship at her church, and my stepdad is a pastor there, and my dad leads worship at his church, and my stepmom is also a part of the worship team there. There are many wonderful and beautiful things about being a part of organized religion, and I have found both benefits and negative consequences as growing up in that church. One of the consequences is the lasting effects of purity culture, especially on women. Now, that's not to say that purity culture doesn't affect men too. It does. There are certain ways that men can grow into complexes, and it affects their sexual and relationship well-being as they go into marriages or as they stay single through their lives. But it especially affects women, from the clothes we wear to the way we view our bodies to the way we view other women. Women have been the main target of this kind of teaching for as long as this teaching has been around. That's biblical. It's historical. There are lifelong, lasting effects that come with this kind of teaching. And it causes a divide between different types of women. It creates camps of, I wear ankle-length skirts and don't cut my hair, and I wear a mini skirt and a crop top, when in reality, both of those things are perfectly normal and healthy and natural for women. So according to the Bible, Ephesians 5:5, which is the New Testament, if you guys know anything about the Bible, it says, "For you may be sure that anyone who is sexually immoral, impure, or who is covetous has no inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God." So the Bible's definition of sexual impurity is just anything from sexual attraction outside of marriage to acting on that sexual attraction to, wearing certain types of clothing to homosexuality. And this can be uncomfortable to talk about in today's modern society, but it's important that we talk about it because it does affect the entirety of society. Man, woman, or non-binary. The Bible has huge lasting effects on anyone who's grown up around it. This verse is intense. It very clearly states that, if you've ever struggled, I say struggled in quotes, struggled with homosexuality or sexual impurity, that you are now less than according to the kingdom of God. That's heavy. That's a heavy burden to carry, especially as a young woman or a young man or just a child in the church in general. Growing up in these environments, it has lifelong effects, and it can really hurt who you are and change who you grow up into being. Secondly, Peter 3:3-4 says, "Women with braided hair adorned with gold and jewels shall not be accepted in the kingdom of God." So it's talking about how women who live within these boundaries there's such strict rules. Like these women don't have the same rights as a man to choose what they wear, choose how they wear it, where they go. It's a lot stricter for women, and it creates a kind of uncomfortable situation between man and woman where women are told to submit. Men are told that they can be whatever they want to be, Now, that's not to say, the Bible does also say that a man who is covetous against a woman shall gouge his eyes out. So, this is intense stuff on both sides, but it especially affects women. So I personally have experience with purity culture. I grew up in the church, and I experienced, being told what to wear, being told what to eat, being told how to wear it, how my body looked in certain clothing, and that stays with me to this day. I put on an outfit in the morning and I think, would my parents feel comfortable with me wearing this? I'm a 20-year-old woman. I pay my own taxes, I own my own car. Why am I worried about what my parents may or may not think about what I'm wearing? And it's one of the consequences of growing up in the church. It creates an uncomfortable mindset, especially for women. It also creates a very easy way for women to tear each other down. Now, the society that we have, women don't need more reasons to tear each other down. Men do plenty of that. But it creates, like I said, these different camps of I have never cut my hair. I wear an ankle-length denim skirt every day. That's wonderful. If that is what you feel comfortable in, then you should be celebrating that. But we also have to celebrate sex workers, women who wear short skirts and short tops and feel comfortable in their bodies and don't feel like they need to cover their hair and don't feel like they need to cover their ankles and knees. There has to be a balance between those two things. And It's one of the consequences of purity culture is that, you know, we have struggled with these kinds of camps. To wrap up, women have been the main target of this teaching as long as it's been around. There are lifelong effects to this kind of teaching. It is painful to see, and it causes a divide between women that is very clearly seen in the way that we treat each other. Like I said, there are 210 million Christians in the world, and half of them are women. So I just want you guys to stop and think about how many women have been affected by this kind of teaching and are still affected to this day. Thank you.